Okay, so good morning, everybody, and a big warm welcome to our next VA Forum session. Delighted today to be joined by Yvonne and Ian from Jigsaw Social Media, who are going to be doing a great session with us today and give us hopefully lots of hints and tips for us to use on social media across all platforms. So for those of you, we've got lots of new faces today. For those of you that have never heard of us before, my name's Daniel. I'm the founder of PA Forum. PA Forum we've got 800 PAs, EAs and VAs as members. We offer learning and development opportunities online and face-to-face. We have an annual conference each year, which takes place in September. And we also host the West Midlands PA Awards. We started the VA Forum earlier this year because we realised and we had feedback that some of the sessions that we were doing for PAs and EAs weren't necessarily geared towards VAs, and that's why we set this up. Caroline, who's joining us today, is on our committee, and also Yvonne is on our committee as well. And together we put together content each month for you to be able to network with each other, build connections, obviously learn hints and tips from some of our experts that are on board. And Yvonne has kindly stepped out of her comfort zone, bless her, to make sure that she can deliver this session for us today. And I'm very grateful. Yvonne and I met, I work in the events industry, and Yvonne was one of my biggest clients. So she was a PA in the dental world. And so it's been great to have the opportunity to work very closely with her. So hello, Yvonne and Ian, and welcome.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit more about yourselves.
Hello, everyone. As you can tell from my accent, I am definitely West Midlands. So welcome to today's Zoom. I'm Yvonne, this is my husband Ian, and we run Jigsaw Social Media. I was a PA for many, many years. I obviously had connections with Dan and that. And as my kids got a little bit older, I wanted a bit more of a work-life balance. So I went down the path of being a VA, which is a big step for anyone. And now, the way things work, I mostly specialise in social media support for a variety of businesses, and I just support their activity online. So that is where I am now, and this is my husband, Ian.
So I am the boring numbers person, basically. I'm a finance director, so sort of numbers person by background, and obviously I'm working with other businesses, but I'm supporting Jigsaw Social Media as well. So got a very active interest and active role within Jigsaw, and it's been fun actually. It's been enjoyable.
Quite the journey.
Yeah, really has. Really has.
It's just at the beginning, and it's great. So. We have a presentation today, so
we're going to try and get a PowerPoint thing to come up on your screen. So if we cut you all off, I apologise in advance, but bear with me. I'll just try and get this working.
We are now going to try and share.
Thank you very much. It's all lovely, the delights of Zoom that we've all learned, isn't it, over the past couple of months in particular.
Right,
that's great, so, guys. We've got you on full screen. Thank you.
Can we just check? Can you all see then? Yeah, you're all good.
Got a few nods I can see there in the background.
So, okay, so let's start.
Actually, let me just check. If I just press that, can you all still see the presentation? Yeah, that's good. At least we might not be in your way then.
Okay, so social media, here we go. Social media. Today we're going to cover a few things. We're going to discuss why businesses have to bother with social media at all in the first place and how important it is. We're going to briefly cover the differences between traditional marketing and social media marketing. We're going to discuss the channels that you can use and how you get to speak to the people you need to reach. We're going to show you some examples of things that work, but more importantly, what doesn't work and to avoid. And then we'll finish it off with some tools and some tips. We're going to show you some apps and some software that will generally make your life easier, and hopefully you can take some good hints away today. So here we go, the journey.
So I get to do the boring number slides, as already mentioned. That is kind of my bag, which is fine. So bear with me if some of these are a little bit dry. But the big question is, you know, why should businesses bother with social media? Frankly, it is a numbers game. There are 65 million people in the UK, and of those 65 million people, 45 million of those are active social media users. That doesn't mean that they've got an old MySpace page from when they were kids that they're kind of embarrassed about. 96% of users literally post every day. So the market and the potential reach of anything you're doing on social media as a business is huge. The difference with it, and we'll come on to see why it's important in a bit, over 3/4 of the people who are on social media are actively engaging with posts. So that's liking, commenting, sharing, having some kind of interaction with posts and with you potentially as a business. That was the case before coronavirus hit and the world stopped. But I think it's fair to say that over lockdown, the usage of social media and certainly the potential advantages of social media from a business point of view have absolutely exploded. So yeah, if you're not doing it, then this is certainly something that as a business you should be looking to get into.
So, lockdown. Boris made an announcement. He declared lockdown, and overnight everything changed. So most people occasionally work from home, but suddenly it was enforced on us that we were all working from home on Wi-Fi and on the internet and social media, and it just exploded. It was particularly bad though for businesses because their footfall stopped overnight. They had no business. It was just fatal. So they had to make changes, and they had to make them quick.
You every time I see that slide, I keep thinking it was really bad news, absolutely.
Also, the football stopped, and that was fantastic. But you know, that's nothing to do with social media. So the businesses realised that they had to change to survive, and they had to turn it around quickly. Now, a lot of businesses, they didn't have online stores, they weren't Etsy, they weren't eBay, but they still had to make money. So what they all did successfully, well, most of them, they used their social media channels to connect with their customer base so they could still continue as a business. They used online engagement to draw the base in, to draw the customers in, and then they took the actual sales offline. So they would show their wares using their social media, and you could place an order, but then they would take your bank details and such over the phone or on email.
Yeah, there's actually, we were talking about this morning, there's a candle company quite local to us, and it's only a sole trader, and she had exactly the same problem, had to close her business premises, nobody was coming into the shop, but she was all over social media, so she was fantastic at using her Facebook page to actually promote and engage with customers. And we actually bought some stuff from her, so we engaged through the Facebook, but actually then just phoned her up to take the order using the credit card machine that she had physically at home. She didn't have an online shop, but she was still managing to trade through what was quite a difficult position. So it just shows that it can be done even if you don't have an online presence currently.
What's come from that now is we are all very used to purchasing online, even more so now using social media. And that goes as far as customer service as well. You can have a query. When is this item I ordered come in? Is it an afternoon delivery? Everything is online, and engagement is absolutely everything. But the engagement using social media is now the new normal. And because it has been successful for businesses, it's not going anywhere. This is the way it's going to be from now on. So, the differences between traditional marketing and social media marketing. Well, we all know the traditional marketing routes. It's the press, flyers, posters, all things that we see every day. And it has its place, it really does, in the market. But when something is printed, you have to catch the right person at the right time who's looking for that deal. And often you will see it for that moment and then it's gone. You've focused on it, you've thought about it, it's gone. And even more important is it doesn't get shared. It's very rare you will pick up the phone and say, I've just seen an amazing article, or I've just seen an amazing selling article. You've got to see it, you've got to get it. It just doesn't happen. So it's seen once and it's gone. It's discarded, it's gone and forgotten. Social media is a completely different beast. So you do an initial post, and if you pitch it correctly and you know your content, they can have immense scope, and your contacts see that and they engage. Engaging means that you're going to like, you're going to comment, or you're going to share. Immediately, that post then gets viewed to their contacts. So it's a particularly good post, and the people who have viewed it on their page, they then also interact with that post, and immediately your post is visible to them as well. And what you find is that your post has been seen by all of these people, most of whom you have no direct link with, but they are seeing what you wanted them to see. And it is very, very powerful.
Again, from sticking my numbers hat on, from a bang for your buck point of view, in terms of an activity to do, you can get one post to be seen by such a wider audience, and you don't really have to pay for that. You pay for that initial post. You just use the mechanism of social media. You have no direct contact with the people who end up seeing it. And we've had some posts that Yvonne's done some amazing stuff, which we'll see in a second. Game of Thrones little sort of feature that she did, and it just went crazy. We had people commenting on it who had literally nothing to do with our business. We didn't know who they were, but if we were posting something then and they started to engage with the business, we were posting something that maybe they were interested in to do with our services, suddenly they are part of your audience. We had no link to them at all. So that's where social media really, really flies.
Reach. That's really important. So
Me, small numbers coming. Sorry. So which platforms? These two things are kind of linked, really. You need to understand a little bit more about the platforms, which we're going to now, and what they do and who their audience are. But you also need to kind of have to think about who it is that you're trying to direct your message to. So who is it you're trying to reach with this stuff? So there are 5 types of platform.
Darling, 4.
Sorry, 4 types of platform.
I did wonder where that shoe went.
There are obviously lots of other ones. There are things like Pinterest and all sorts of things, but we're going to focus on what we consider to be the 4 most useful ones from a business point of view. The first one is obviously Facebook. It's the daddy of them all. Some of the numbers on it are astonishing. So 77% of all UK adults are active on Facebook. So that is a potential 37 million people who are active on Facebook all the time, consistently. It's not just individuals. There are 60 million Facebook business pages around the world. Does mean that your content has to be right for you to be seen, but it is very much a direction that Facebook are taking their platform into, is to encourage online business. I think because of that, Yvonne spends lots of time on this, a lot more time than I do. The tools that they have developed over the years for publishing and scheduling posts and editing and actually engaging as businesses are really, really good, really, really powerful. Particularly their advertising tools. It's frightening how much Facebook knows about us all, what we're into, what we like, what they infer that we like based on other things that we like. So if you want to do targeted advertising, Facebook is really, really powerful for that. As a platform, it's quite flexible. So you can post, just text, you can post pictures, you can do live events, you can do videos, you can actually schedule out events that people can then say, well, I'm interested in this. And as soon as they do that, lots of other people see it as well. I'm sure if you're active on Facebook, you'll have seen it coming up on your timeline as well. They
do polls as well, so you can actually ask questions and just get people interacting and get activity that way as well.
In terms of which is the most effective, this is from the stats that are on Facebook themselves. The live content is actually the one, I think probably because it's still relatively new, that gets more attraction and more sort of interaction than anything else. So it's better than video. Video is, I think, about 3 times better than images, and images are the be all and end all, to be honest with you, and we'll come on to that a little bit more. Images are way better than just doing a text post.
Everything is better than text, everything.
I think the only potential downside, and it's probably maybe not for our lifetimes, is that the usage is a lot lower in the under 18-year-olds. It's certainly true of our kids. You know, they're not interested in Facebook at all, but they are all over Instagram, and that is a large part of the reason why Facebook tried to sort of future-proof themselves and think, well, if the future industry leaders are on Instagram, then we need a piece of Instagram. So they actually bought Instagram in 2012. They have got deep pockets, to be fair, but they paid $1 billion, which sounds a bit like a mini-me type statement. They paid $1 billion for Instagram.
Insta. You can't be down with the kids. Insta.
It's about half the size of Facebook, which is still massive. You know, 23 million users in the UK. It's huge. And again, there's slightly different demographic. There's an overlap between Instagram and Facebook, but it is generally a younger audience that is on Instagram. It's heavily, in fact, almost exclusively geared towards image content and video content. It's not really about getting text there, so it is about making sure that you've got the right type of content for the platform, which we'll come on to again in a little bit. This is a stat. I mean, I was looking through all the stats as you do, you know, but this really surprised me. I think because it's images and because it's videos, it's actually quite easy to engage with. So 80% of all Instagram users follow at least one business page. So you can't really dismiss Instagram as a business platform, because actually there is a high rate of engagement there. So there's a lot of people that follow it.
For example, my daughter, she follows all the mainline stores, you know, for clothing and the latest range. So she will constantly flick through to see the new dresses, the new tops, the new trainers. They're engaging straight away.
It is almost entirely mobile based. People tend not to look at, certainly you can't post to Instagram from anything other than a mobile, and it is all about, you know, you keep scrolling through your timeline, and you need something that's going to catch your eye to just stop that scrolling process. That's what the content is also geared towards on Instagram. LinkedIn is the one that we sort of, I think, traditionally think of as the business platform, although I think it's clear that they're all potentially business platforms. Similar size to Instagram, so 20 million users in the UK. Probably a higher actual activity rate of 40%. So 40% of people are active on LinkedIn every day. I don't know how they get their day jobs done, but that is how people are actually on there and doing it. It has become a major tool for the recruitment industry. So almost all agencies are present on there and will be sneakily looking at your profiles and things that you've posted and things that you've liked behind the scenes. So it's a major recruitment. It is individuals, so it's us as individuals posting on there, but it has very much a more business focus. So it's sort of more the professional view that we all want to put on of, I'm presenting myself to the business community rather than here's my embarrassing holiday photos from last year. This is key. If you are on LinkedIn, the numbers again back it up. You must have a profile picture, even if you hate taking photos. If you don't have a profile picture, people will not engage with you on LinkedIn. It's very much a sort of essential thing. So if you have a profile picture, those profiles will get viewed 12 times more than one that doesn't. They will get 36 times more messages than one that don't. So have a profile picture, you know, make that profile picture probably as professional as possible, but make sure you have a profile picture. Where it's potentially useful to you if you've got a small business, and we're just sort of dipping our toe in this a little bit.
Yeah, we started with blogs.
More than any other site, it drives traffic off LinkedIn and into other sites. So you can quite easily create a blog or a post on your own website or anywhere else, and then you can write about that within LinkedIn, and it will share that link and it will show you the link to your site. And if you click through, it will quite happily send you off there. Facebook's very much different. Facebook hates you doing that, and all of their algorithms are built to stop you doing that.
To keep you on the page with Facebook, yeah.
LinkedIn is very much a platform that encourages you to go off and read something and potentially then share it. So it's quite good for driving traffic through to the website. And the future looks okay for LinkedIn, actually. The demographic is good. The take-up in their youth, certainly people who are far younger than I, is very good. So the future looks good for LinkedIn. It's certainly something that as a business, everyone should be active on. And then finally, of the sort of four that we're going to talk about today, is probably the least attractive from a business point of view. Twitter. quite hard to get some actual stats on Twitter, but the general consensus is there are just under 14 million users in the UK. I think the reason that they struggle to do accurate statistics is because it is absolutely rammed of bot accounts and fake accounts and people who have followers that aren't real followers, etc. So they're always a little bit cagey about numbers, but certainly that's one of the sort of downsides of it. It's a difficult thing to get a business message across on because it's limited to the number of characters. It is quite hard to actually get across what you're saying. So again, imagery is key if you're going to be on Twitter. Again, it's more of a youthful sort of platform generally. So the demographic of people who use Twitter tends to be either the sort of 18 to 24 year olds, or frankly, as far as I can tell, celebrities who've got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
It's excellent for engaging with customers because you could start a direct conversation with people very, very easily on Twitter. People will quite often, tweet to Virgin Media because their Virgin has gone down rather than phoning the customer service line. The downside of that is if you're active on Twitter, you've got to monitor it, because if you leave a message on there that's unanswered, that can potentially then cause some real sort of bad feeling. And
they can escalate. So people comment on comments that aren't responded on. And before you know it, so I would always set your alerts if you're going to use Twitter. It's really important.
So those four are really the main ones that we'd say have a place in the business community. They're not the only ones by any stretch of the imagination, but they're the main ones.
So, which ones should I post to? Well, quite honestly, you can't lose anything by posting to all of them. But I would say that Twitter is the least commercial. So I always will go for the first three, definitely. Twitter, you just have to be a little bit cautious. So let's look at some examples and things that work. So as you can see, lots of information there on what we should do and how we can get people interested. But if you've been listening and if you understand what we're trying to say, images are the important thing and text is secondary. Images, a picture says 1,000 words, and you must always go with a picture or movement.
I think if you've got a post that looks like that, people aren't going to engage with it.
They'll just scroll past it every time. You won't get likes and shares. So, number one, don't be too salesy. Don't push what you're selling at people all the time, because quite frankly, they'll just switch off and you won't get your message across at all. Right, you need to be relevant, but try not to be too political. Our world is very political at the moment, but just as easily as people following you, you will upset off, divide the audience, and you can lose followers just as quickly. Have a look at what's going on around you and what's, in the news. Be aware of what's going on and what's trending, and try and connect your content to that. You'll get likes. Now, the best thing ever is humour. Humour sells, and humour gets shared and liked tremendously. But you just got to be a bit careful and don't be naughty funny. Keep it clean.
My sense of humour doesn't go down well online.
Obviously, we've just talked about targeted advertising. Facebook is tremendous, and you do have to pay for that, but if you know what you're doing and you know correctly how to use your filters and your demographics, it's an amazing tool to have. And obviously hashtags. Learn how to use your hashtags. Learn how to speak. They're really important, and once you start using them, it does seem a little weird at first. You realise that it's just a door to another community and it gets shared. Really important to look at that. And ultimately, we've always said this: image, videos, clips are better, anything like that. Every time you will get shares, you will get likes, and more importantly, you'll get engagement. So, some examples.
So I do this one. This one's near to my heart.
Well, yeah, I did do this one.
These two were posts that Yvonne did for the business that I look after the numbers for. It's a transport business. down in London. And we were trying to get across quite a salesy message and highlight some of the things that make the business unique. The first one is, you know, we've got transparency, so we'll tell you where your freight is all the way through its journey. And we found a very strong image to do that with, the sort of see-through truck that got shared and liked so much, particularly by people in the industry. The reach of that particular post was huge. It was one of the earliest ones that Yvonne came up with, and it was one of the most powerful ones until we did the dogs.
Yeah, well, the thing is with that truck as well, the way that it's planned out, you can really see the brand. And it's, yeah, and then we did the dogs. And it doesn't matter what you, it's funny, people like animals, but it's actually, you wouldn't think about it. This is about ETA. This is about customers hanging around waiting for deliveries, which is, everybody hates that. So I tried to make it funny. And this got shared and liked tremendously, but it's still got a business message.
I like that.
I like those too. But then the seasonal trends as well. So when we talked about trending and listening about what people are talking about and what's, you know, all over social media, it's really important that you tap into that. So hands up, who watched Game of Thrones? It was massive. It was everywhere. Even if you wanted to listen about it, you had no choice. It was on the news. So I created some imagery and I just linked it in. You know, as you can see here, it's a pallet company, and I just created a little bit of a throne and threw some swords around it. Game of pallets instead of Game of Thrones. Yeah, it exploded all over social media. And I used the Game of Thrones hashtags. And people thought it was funny, and they shared it, and they didn't even realise that it's got a logo on there and it's got pallets. It just got shared, and that went everywhere. Seasonal as well, so like Halloween. This is obviously Ghostbusters, which I turned around, and I did a lot of Halloween stuff around that time, trick or treat and all that, putting the brand on everything. It's key. Again, correct hashtags, shared everywhere. And at Christmas, this company is called Ketra Logistics, and we changed it over to Santa Logistics for December, and we went a lot with the, you know, we're delivering, and don't worry, you know, you're gonna get your gifts and stuff like that. And that for the whole of December, we introduced an advent calendar, and it was just seasonal. And it's really important that you do that and tap into it, because then you get, you know, you get the third, fourth generation shares. This is a specific event that we worked on. This is a karate event. So this is another customer of mine. So I did a teaser on the left, as you can see. I put that out a few weeks before, and then I used Facebook specific targeting for advertising. So I knew the postcode of where the area was, and I used keywords and ages to use the demographic to target the correct people. This event sold out pretty, you know, straight away, and he's now a regular customer. And that just goes to show that the targeted, focused advertising is a sure win if you know what you're doing. And as you can see then, just shareable content. So, you know, anything that happens, World Cup, sports, back to school. So I did the Cricket World Cup, and I try and bring the crowd in. You know, it's got nothing to do with business whatsoever, but I know that people are talking about it, and I try, you know, come on England. Everyone likes to share those. Back to school, where parents are literally pulling their hair out. And the one on the right was the Royal Baby, and that was a massive trending hashtag. So I put these in, and the thing is, like we said, it can't be too salesy. You need to break it up. You need to make your content interesting, and to do that, you need to bring in like what people are talking about and what is trending everywhere at the time.
Okay, so some tools, some things that we found that are quite useful and might be worth you looking up. And there's, again, a bit of a logo fest on this one. If, as we say, you're going to post on multiple platforms, like you're going to post on, say, the 4 recommended sites, you can either do them individually, which is fine, but we definitely recommend you look up a social media scheduler.
Yeah. If you're working for more than one customer, you're going to need a scheduler, because you know you're not Doctor Who and you haven't got a time machine. So if you want to be able to sleep and eat, you'll need a scheduler. There are lots on the market, and I currently use Hootsuite and I use Buffer. But there are others, and it is very individual, so you need to get out there and try them. Buffer is free. Hootsuite is a professional one that you have to pay for. But I think just get out there and try them, and they do work. And it's great because working for yourself, you can just schedule all your work when it suits you, and you've got those posts going out. You only have to post once instead of going on to all the different sites, so you can make that content and then you just put it on your scheduler and it will go everywhere, and it uses all the direct, so you can do Instagram business and such. And then content creation, well, this is the important one as well. I use Canva, and Canva creates great imagery, and it's already set up, preset for all your formatting for your main Facebook pages, because everything's different. For example, Insta's a square, Twitter's a rectangle, but it's all preset and it's got loads of stuff. Again, you can access that on a free basis, and there's loads there for you to use, or you can upgrade into a business account and you do get a lot more, but it's an amazing. And then there's Unsplash. Unsplash is somewhere you can have access to visuals that are royalty free, which is really important. Free images basically that you can use, and then you can distribute on your social media. Now, if you see something like that, what I use via Windows is a snip tool, and it basically takes a screen image of whatever you see. So say you see a picture in Unsplash, you can then take a snip of it, you save it as a PNG, which is an image, and then you can do anything you want. You can put it directly onto Facebook, or you can work within Canva and you can elaborate on that image, and you can then create some animation or whatever, but it's fantastic.
I'm a bit of an Excel geek, I think it's fair to say, unsurprisingly. I don't know if you've all used the snip tools. It's a free thing that's built into Windows. So if you press your Windows key on your computer, obviously not now because you'll probably cut yourself off, and actually type the word snip, you'll find it coming up as one of the free apps. And literally, it's probably the most useful thing for generating content. If you want to take a screenshot, or you want to take a part of your screen,
it can just be a small part
of that. Draw around it on the screen, and it adds it to your clipboard, and then you've got it. It's incredibly powerful. It's free, but they don't tell you about it. You've sort of got to find it a little bit. So hit the Windows key and type snip, and you'll find it in
there. And lastly, PowerPoint. And everyone probably thinks PowerPoint. It's been around forever, but I use PowerPoint daily, and it is a very powerful piece of software if you're up to date on it. It's got so much animation and transition slides. It's very easy to use, but more importantly, you can create brand colours and you can move things around. It's very easy, and you can export it into video content. I'm not sure if you all know that. So once you've done that, you love what you're doing, it's all moving around, you export it into a video, and then you've got something animated for your social media. And lastly, national days. We talked about seasonal stuff. So national days are really important. So for example, yesterday was National Chocolate Day. I think it was International Chocolate Day yesterday. And we recently had International VA Day, which of course, girls and boys, very important day indeed. But if you keep that and if you register with these pages, it gives you general content that takes you away from the salesy thing, and it's also trending often. So it's really good to have. Oh, here we go.
It's a good stuff. I don't know what she do. She'll let them
giving it all away, aren't we?
She'll finish there. Give it there.
So,
got me to run through some of these.
Need a drink.
I was going to say, you've talked for ages there. Probably the most important one, I would say, and the thing that probably sends Yvonne a little bit crazy, is if you're going to be on social media, you must post regularly. We try and encourage everybody to post every day. It doesn't necessarily have to be fresh content every day, but you need to be active on that platform. One, so that people see you, but also so that the devious people at Facebook and Twitter
Algorithms
don't rank you down.
Yeah.
Active profiles and active pages get boosted up the timeline without you even realizing it. So if you're just sitting back and not posting anything, you will disappear. If you're actively engaging with the platform, their mechanisms behind the scene will mean that you will get seen more often. So definitely
it's like a loyalty card. Yeah, you need to do it.
Yeah, have a separate private set of pages, absolutely fine, and separate business profiles. Even if your business is you, you know, people don't necessarily want to see your holiday photos on that business page. So keep the two things very separately. In terms of those two pages and the audience for them, your business profile should be set to open or public. So that, again, the whole sharing thing that Yvonne talked through earlier on will only work if your security settings are that your business page is open to the world and set to public. You won't want that for your private pages. Who would want that? My spelling's not great. So yeah, check everything. There's nothing worse than putting on something on social media representing your business that has it spelled incorrectly.
And you see it everywhere. Yeah.
This is a pet hate of yours, isn't it? So if you're going to grab an image from somewhere, if you do a Google search for an image and you're looking for something, you'll notice a lot of them have the watermarks across of maybe photo stock or whichever the sort of the provider is. Don't use watermarked images. It makes you look like you don't know what you're doing.
It makes you look amateur. Yeah, it really does.
But also the reason that it's watermarked, and the next thing is, you know, you've got to be careful about just grabbing images from the internet. There are plenty of royalty-free sites out there. If you search for royalty-free images, and royalty-free videos, there are lots of them out there you can use, but don't go taking things off photo stock because they do like to sue people for using their stock.
They make a point of it. They make a point of finding you, and you will get fined. You know, so. Brand colours, blue and grey. I wonder who that is.
No idea. Yeah, if you've got a brand and you've got colours, make sure that you see them in your posts. You know, there should be quite a distinctive look to your posts. It's not necessarily everything has to be the same colour, but if you've got your logo on there, great. If you have a border and you've got a particularly distinctive...
It can be subtle, but just keep it running all the way through.
That colour palette is very effective for that recognition. Check your post work. Yeah, we've had quite a few of these where late at night I've had the phone call saying this video isn't posting and I don't know why, so we've tried to work out why. You can preview, but make sure that the post is going to be viewed and work as you intended.
Yeah, always check it.
That's my tech support role.
Yeah,
basically making sure it's working.
Yeah, well, basically most things are now seen on a phone, so when you are composing your content, make sure that it isn't too small. 85% of posts are seen on a phone, so make sure it is positioned correctly, it's not too small, and it's mobile friendly. Really important. So monitor and respond. We talked about this particularly with Twitter. Just make sure that you do check if people are liking and sharing. If they comment at all, respond, because it makes your post go straight away back up to the top. And also it's really good to engage. Follow your customers.
I was really wary about this one with my finance hat on again. I was like, hang on a second, we're going to tell everybody who our customers are. What if they go and try and steal all our customers? It has the complete opposite effect. So in following our customers, Yvonne convinced us all that actually the two logistics companies needed to follow all the customers. Because we're actually doing that and engaging with them, it's tied them into us. So they see us trying to support their business activity. It's tremendously powerful.
It's a massive positive message.
I just saw everybody trying to nick our customers.
But even more important, follow your competitors too.
Yeah, if you see if you know there's a business that's sort of similar to you and is doing good things, follow them. You know, that's, they want you to follow them. You can just sort of see what they're doing and go, oh, actually, that's quite clever. I'll do a version of that. I'll do something that's relevant like that to me. You know, don't be afraid to follow and see what your competitors are doing online. Have a look.
Engage. Yeah. Ultimately, that's what you need to do. You need to be active. You need to be out there, and you want people to click. You want them to like, and you want them to share, and you want them to comment. That's what the whole thing of this is about. And that is Jigsaw. So I hope you've all found this helpful. But my details are on here, and I think Dan is going to, he'll put them on afterwards, won't you, Dan? If anyone has any questions, just feel free to send me an email or contact me on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I will get back to you all.
Thank you.
And back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much. Really great.
Let me try and stop.
That's it. Thank you. We have had a couple of questions sent in, so thank you ever so much for sharing with us. I found that really, but you know, I think for me, I didn't realise how much you could do with PowerPoint and that you can export videos and things like that. I didn't know you could do that, which is fantastic. So that's definitely something I've taken away today. So thank you very much for that. We had some topical discussion earlier about LinkedIn and whether you should have your business logo as your profile picture. And then people have come back in and said, and lots of comments going on the chat box about how you can have your profile picture, but then you can on Canva. Is it on Canva?
Yeah, you can do a banner. Yeah. So again, Canva, you could say you want the banner for LinkedIn. It's already pre-sized up, and then you can do that. So I have a photo, and then I have a background. And
yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
I think one I've just seen one of the comments there, people do business with people. You know?
Yeah, well, I think face to
number
face.
robot,
Yeah.
I get that. You know, people do business with people.
Well, I did get him to change his photo recently.
It was old and I didn't look like it, but, you know.
Wasn't the man I married. So yeah. So again, if you're looking for Canva, always go on there.
Fab, thank you so much. And then we've had another question in. So it says, can I ask whether it is recommended to post the same content across each social platform, or should it be amended? I.e., can the same hashtags from Instagram be used on a Facebook post?
Right, so Facebook don't really like hashtags. If you put in a video, it will give you a box on the bottom and you can put your hashtags in. But other than that, LinkedIn, Insta and Twitter all really do work on hashtags, and even LinkedIn will suggest hashtags at the bottom. If you want to try a hashtag out on Instagram, you can just start to type a word that you want to use and a whole list of hashtags will come down. And then you can see how many people are following those particular hashtags, and then you know which ones to use. And it's getting the balance. You don't want one that is millions of people because you're just going to get lost in it. You want one it's still trending and people will see it. So that's what you do.
Okay.
I think as well on Instagram you can use up to 30 hashtags. And
Yeah,
that's what they say to use a lot of that. On Facebook and the others it's probably
between
3 to 5 at the most.
I think it's 7 to 9 now, Caroline. It changes all the time. That's what I mean. They're very clever at, they change their algorithms all the time. But I'm working at the moment on 7 and 9, but it does change. You need to just keep on it. But yeah, Insta you can use loads, and I normally put them towards the bottom.
I think
Fair.
LinkedIn as a platform in terms of content, I think you're probably likely to put more friendly, jokey things on the other platforms than LinkedIn.
Yeah,
definitely recommend to put some of them on there, because LinkedIn can be quite dry. You know, if you're looking up and down the profile and it's all businesses, all salesy, the odd little bit that's actually sort of quite quirky and quite funny, I think works very well. And certainly,
we use quotes, we use national days and things like that, and we do share things as well to keep people engaged. But Twitter obviously is the one where you have very little text, So you do have to change it, because it's a visual thing. So you just have to really limit what you put down on there.
So I had a conversation this morning about, we were talking about LinkedIn, and I wanted to do a new post about my coaching that I'm doing for virtual assistants. And they thought, this is actually genuine. At the time, I've just bought a new desk, and this is my toolbox. And I said, well, this is what are you doing? I said, I'm fixing my new desk together. And they said, what's that? I said, this is my Hello Kitty toolbox. It's got my screwdriver in. It's got my hammer. Wouldn't it be great for you to do a social media picture of you with your toolbox?
Yeah, but that's it. That's great, and that'll get people to laugh, and then it'll get shared. And yeah, that's the sort of thing, you're just tapping into something there.
Well, there you go.
And you'll get a nickname then as well, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I would never have thought of that, but she said that to me this morning. She said, why don't you do something different and throw that on there and see what happens? So look out for that, everybody, later on. But has anyone else got any questions they'd like to ask Yvonne or Ian? Anyone?
I've got something I'd like to say about Instagram, if that's okay, because
Yeah.
I've started using that for clients, and I love it now. I can't believe, for a product-based client, and she's got a vegan organic skincare company, and I'm posting on it. It's going so well from Instagram now and Facebook that she's going to cut her days down at work because she's making so much from it. And I did one post, because there's different groups you can go to, like Solihull Hour, West Midlands Hour, that's on Twitter, but there is the same sort of thing on Instagram.
And Facebook.
And I just put
communities.
Yeah, they're on all of them. But
Yeah, they're
on
brilliant.
the Instagram one, I put one out, just one post, and it was seen by 3,500 people straight away. And from that one post, she sold products from it. So it's just something to think about. There's so much.
People on Instagram follow businesses, so that's what they do. And I see that product, Caroline, and I can understand, because it's a visual.
Yeah, it's pictures. Yeah. Anything that looks good in pictures is Instagram, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. And that's a great success story.
Yeah, congratulations. That sounds awesome. Well, like
she's really pleased.
I think, as you all know, we could probably talk about social media forever. There's so many different things that we can do. But I just want to just say a big, massive thank you to Yvonne and Ian for doing all of that today and gifting your time for us, because that was really, really great, really insightful. And I've learned a lot from that as well. So thank you ever so much for that.
You're welcome.
And Dan, if anyone wants me then, so just message. But I'm also on the VA forum page on Facebook. So if you put anything on there as well, I'll be able to get back to you on there.
Yeah, we'd really love you to spread the word. So if you've enjoyed today, please do spread the word, because we'd love to try and get as many VAs coming to join us as possible. It's a great community. Our next event in August, which I'll send the date through for you, is purely just networking. So we wanted to come online, hear a little bit more about you or about your business, how it's been the last 3 months, what your exciting plans are for the future, and just get to know each other a little bit more. So if you want to join us, please feel free. I'll make sure that I send a follow-up email afterwards with this recording on there for you as well. So you can see all of the information if you wanted to go back through anything today, and also with Yvonne and Ian's contact details. I just wanted to add that I'm going to also send you our recent newsletter. So we've got 6 further sessions coming up over the next 2 weeks. We've got one about business finance, time management, all different types of things, and they're all free for you to join. So if anyone wants to join them, then please feel free. The other thing I wanted just to mention as well was I'm really pleased because I've just passed my coaching course, which is all about referral networking. And I am doing a VA specific cohort in August for 10 weeks. It's 90 minutes per week over 10 weeks via Zoom. And it's all about creating referral networking around you. And I've done this, and I truly believe this is why the VA forum and the PA forum started for me, and I'd love to be able to share that with you. So if anyone wants any information about that, then please contact me afterwards as well. But have a lovely day, everybody. Had some lovely comments in here about you being so talented, Yvonne, and everybody wants your details, so I'll make sure I get those out. But have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.